What is going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. And this one comes from Deadline. Sebastian Fest director defends Johnny Depp Honorary Prize. He has not been arrested, charged, nor convicted. San Sebastian Film Festival has hit back at critics after taking some flack this week for deciding to give its honorary Dynastia award to Johnny Depp. Last year, Johnny Depp lost a high-profile libel case, blah blah blah, in The Sun against tabloids that accused him of being abusive to a man in the herd. Shortly after the verdict, Depp was axed from the Fantastic Beasts franchise by Warner Bros. And more recently, Minamata director Andrew Levitas claimed that MGM had shelved this film because it starred Depp. But today, San Sebastian director Jose Luis Robordinos came out firing in his response to those who criticized the event for its decision. In a lengthy statement, he reaffirmed his commitment to fighting inequality, and he also said Depp had not been arrested, charged, nor convicted of any form of assault or violence against women, which is true. And even the LA police have stated that, well, number one, they are looking at Amber Heard's perjury in the case that she presented in the United Kingdom for the Sun case, but also they've stated in police reports filings that there has not been any evidence of any violence towards Amber Heard on Johnny Depp's behalf. You know, they've said that they've turned up and where certain things have been said, there has not been evidence that what was said happened. So I think this is really important to remember. It's very easy to condemn people and cancel them and say, oh, they're a horrible person, they did this. But we don't have the proof that they've done that. We do have a court case in the UK by the Sun, and that's a whole different thing because that's backed by a lot of powerful people who will get their way and don't like being sued for making money. Let's put it that way. So that's a whole thing in itself. But law enforcement agencies have not taken action against Johnny Depp. And if there was credible proof that he'd done something wrong, to the extent that has been stated that he did something wrong, then they would have arrested him by now. They would have taken him into custody. You know, there would be something or some charges pending somewhere. But it doesn't look like there's a case against Johnny Depp. It doesn't look like there's particularly a case against Amber Heard for, you know, domestic violence. But it does look like there's something about perjuring. But anyways, let's continue with this. So yeah, he says that he's going to fight against any. He said Johnny Depp did not be arrested, charged, or convicted of any form of assault or violence against women. In the first place, as the director of and person holding the highest responsibility for the festival, I would like to repeat our commitment to fighting inequality, the abuse of power and violence against women, said Robordinas, as well as meeting the commitments acquired in the Charter for Parity and the Inclusion of Women in Cinema. The festival is consciously promoting the presence of female professionals at the head of its department. By means of its September program and throughout the year, its participants in the questioning of society from a critical and feminist point of view. We've also endeavored to create safe atmospheres for women in the festival places of work and sites, and in the event of inappropriate behavior which has occurred, we have taken tough and rapid action. In these present times, when lynching on social media is rife, we've always defended two basic principles which form part of culture and our body of laws, and that of the presumption of innocence and that of the right to reintegration. Continued the festival director, according to proven data which we have to hand, Johnny Depp has not been arrested, charged, nor convicted of any form of assault or violence against women. We repeat, he has not been charged by any authority in any jurisdiction nor convicted of any form of violence against women. And this is the point. This is the absolute point. There has not been a conviction, there's not been charges filed, there's not been a case, yet one person is getting absolutely lynched and the other person isn't, when from both sides of the argument, it looks like both handled the relationship terribly. And if you're going to believe half the things that Johnny did, then half the things that Amber Heard did, They should both be in the same position, but they're not. So I think it's fair for the director of the film festival to say, you know, there hasn't been anything done against him. We're still going to honor him because that's our right to do so. If there was some evidence to state the contrary, if there was a conviction, arrest, something there, then we would have not ever offered the award. And that's fair. And I think it's a problem in society where it's very easy to ignore, men that are victims of domestic violence and acknowledge women who are. I think men get shamed a lot for it, and it's just not believed. It's not believed that that could ever happen to a man, and it's the double standards, and it needs dealing with. It's not just me who says this; it's a lot of domestic violence groups, a lot of men's rights groups that deal with domestic violence that have stated, it's as hard as it is for women, it's almost as hard for men. It's almost twice as hard for men. Well, not twice, but it's harder for men because they get ridiculed. They get ridiculed by the peers. They get ridiculed by the authorities. You know, they're not believed. I think that's a problem across the board, not just with um men, but with women in general with domestic violence, abuse of any kind. It's they're not being believed. And I think everyone should be taken seriously and every case should be investigated and all the evidence should be formulated to get to the truth, right? That's what should happen. All the evidence should be formulated to get to the truth and figure out whether it's true or not. And you shouldn't just presume that something isn't true based upon whether someone's a man or a woman, or whether you don't think the story's convincing enough. You should follow through with an investigation and actually see, is there evidence here? Is there proof? I think that's fair for men or women, and I don't think it's acceptable for anyone to be cancelled upon any level without there being some actual criminal trial that proves them guilty, you know. But that's just me. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I have the wrong perspective on this. But I just think people should be treated fairly and that the law is the law and that everyone should be judged by a court of their peers and not by a lynch mob online who wants to hate them because they have their own personal issues with the world. I think it's more fair that they're judged by a group of their peers, that they are, you know, that there's a courtroom, that there's a prosecutor, that they have defense, that there's a judge to help decide the case, that there is that system in place that has that fairness and balance that says whether something is right or wrong. I also think with the whole sun thing, that's a little bit different, and I probably might discuss that at some other time. But there's other reasons why that case went that way, and it has nothing to do with their situation. It has to do with tabloids in the UK and kind of what's going on with them. As a person from the UK, I would say to anyone, honestly, take what you see in the papers with a grain of salt. Especially if you're abroad, please don't take what's in the papers in the UK seriously. A lot of the time, because most of the articles aren't. They are very opinionated and written in a way that is not as honest as it should be. They have agendas, basically. But yeah, that's enough of that. Let me know what you think about this. I think it is right that they stood up in their decision to honor Johnny Depp. Um, I don't think he deserves the treatment he's getting until he has actually been arrested, charged, or convicted of something. There has to be something that is there where you can say, look, there seems to be evidence here of something. and then when that happens, you deal with it. But there isn't, and the same goes for Amber Heard. We've heard stuff, but we haven't had a conviction in her case either. We haven't had a charge. We haven't had arrest. We just have a potential case that could be perjury. But we don't know whether that's going to go through. That's something for the LA DA, the California DA to decide. But yeah, like the video, comment down below. Let me know what you guys think on this entire situation. Which side do you stand on? Do you think this was acceptable? And just fairness in general, do you think canceling people online without actually having evidence or proof, without them having a fair trial, is the way to go? Or do you think that there should be a process to that, and that people's careers should remain intact until it's proven that they have actually done the things that they have been accused of? Anyways, guys, I'll leave it at that, and I'll see you guys later.